Why are you downcast, O my soul, and why are you so sad? Trust in God, for I will sing His praises once again. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about depression a little today on Tofer Steak. I think one of the biggest lies we are told as Christians is, we have to be happy all the time. We have the joy of the Lord, and we should always be yay God. And quite frankly, that's not true. Because life happens. And we are not always joyful. Sometimes life is a struggle, and I want to talk about dealing with that to an extent today. Maybe I'll come back and touch on this a little bit, in another podcast. But I also feel it important to say that while I do get depressed, I am not diagnosed as being clinically depressed. So while I'll be talking about this a little, I'll be talking more about how to deal with it in situations. Not necessarily as being, depressed clinically, and how I've gotten through some of those situations. Also, keep in mind that this is just me. This is just me being real with you guys, okay? And I realize that not everybody out there is me. I realize that everybody has different gifts and talents and deals with things differently. So just because something works for me to get through stuff does not mean it's going to work for everybody. This is not, a one-time easy answer and this is how you get through it. This is just how I've got through it. And I think back to the first time I really remember being depressed. Like I said, it was due to some situations. It was right on my freshman year in high school. I had lost a lot of people. And this was really my first time dealing with death. I had lost my grandpa prior to that, but I was too young to really know him or realize what was going on. This is my first time really dealing with it, and like I said, I lost a lot of people. So going into my freshman year, I was depressed. I was suicidal, and I didn't have anybody to turn to. And that right there is going to be my first piece of advice. Is have people you can turn to. Have people you can talk to. You can work it out with. That will come walk alongside you. And part of that for me was going to counseling. And getting my head cleared. Now, depending on the situation, and the person, and how serious it is, I may or may not always say, well, you're depressed and you need counseling, because if you're depressed because you stub your toe, okay, yeah, you might need counseling over being depressed or something like that. But if you're depressed just because, it's raining, and there's something small, maybe you don't need counseling for it. Maybe you just need to, work through, suck it up a little. Again, that's just me. I'm not, professional when it comes to talking on this. But, like I said, for me, it's just situational. I get depressed, I had about 9 people die that summer. Therefore, I was depressed and suicidal because I didn't know how to deal with it. Like I said, the first thing I'd say is have people come beside you. And you fast forward that a few years back when my uncle passed away. I was in a better spot. I was in a better mindset to deal with it, and I said, this sucks. But God is still good, and God is still God. And that is my second piece of advice, is realize who God is. In the psalm, part of the psalm I read earlier says, I will trust and hope in God, and I will praise Him. And I'll admit, it takes a bit of a maturity as a Christian to be able to do that when you're facing adversity. It's not always easy. It's not always the simple thing to do. But I would say, if you can get your mind off the situation and get your mind thinking about who God is and what He's done and, His plan for your life, that would be a good way to start. A few years back, my sister lost somebody she cared about. It was hard on her, because they were not dating, but not dating either. And, when I lost my ex-girlfriend who wanted to be a missionary, because she had gone through something similar, she was there to walk alongside me and to point me back to God and say, hey, focus on Him. I'll be there with you, but focus on Him. Another thing I would really think helps is everybody. Aside from looking on God, everybody has different coping mechanisms, okay? Some of mine is I enjoy writing. So if I'm depressed, say my girlfriend broke up with me, I'm going to write a poem about it. And another one of mine is, and these two are this is kind of bad, but, I seek out comfort food. Yeah, I'm a big guy, I enjoy food, and it's been a comfort to me, and that's cool, but know that your ultimate comfort is God. And if you are a creative person, write or draw or do something that'll help you work through that. That'll express what you're feeling inside. Those three things, I think. Having other people come along beside you, and realizing that God is still God and He's still in control, and learning to praise Him through struggles. Look at Job, Was he depressed? Yes, because he had lost everything. But in the midst of that, he said, I know my Redeemer lives. And find outlets for you to express yourself. Whether it's writing, whether it's reading, whether it's just drawing or talking to somebody or doing music. Find a way to express your grief, your sorrow, your depression. Let it out. Air it out somehow. I think those three things, have really helped me in my struggles when I'm depressed. And keep in mind, like I said, I get depressed more over situations. If you're dealing with clinical depression, I've never walked through that, so I don't know how to advise you or encourage you to do that, walk through that. Other than maybe get it diagnosed, and seek help through that. Anyway, I know this is a bit longer than my normal podcast. I'm sorry. If you're struggling with something, and need someone to talk to, hit me up, okay? You guys got my YouTube, ask me, I'll get you my Facebook, or, whatnot. Hit me up. I will gladly talk to you, or listen, or pray for you, or whatever it takes to help you work through that. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off right about now, so I hope this has helped somebody, and I hope this has made sense to somebody out there. Goodbye, and God bless.